Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the 30-Minute Major Hockey Podcast. Got a great episode coming up for you. We got our player spotlight. It shows two players who have been absolutely playing their game. That's how I have been describing it to everybody that I've been talking to. They've been playing their game, and that's it. And that's all that they've needed. All their team has needed. We're talking Eetu Luostarinen, and we're talking Brad Marchand. These dudes have played phenomenal, and we're going to dive into it. Then we're going to talk about the Canes-Florida series. Yikes. This is so underwhelming in so many different ways, especially as a Canes supporter and wanting them obviously to make the cup and wanting Florida to not go to their third straight Stanley Cup. But long series, but we'll dive into those games. Dallas and Edmonton, awesome game one. A lot of resilience from that Dallas group, and we saw it. They needed it, obviously. Great start from Edmonton, and DeBoer made some great adjustments and line changes to really put that team in position to win. Plus, Ottinger kind of tightened up strong. They had a 5-goal third period. We're going to go into that. And then a fun little day in hockey history coming up next. First, we're talking Eetu Luostarinen. Now, to be completely honest, this dude does not have a remarkably great career. I think his career high in points is 43 a few years back, but he's one of those guys who really can. He's that third, sometimes second line guy who does the intangibles, shows 100% effort every single game. And in this playoffs, he's been phenomenal. He's tied for first on the team in points with 13. He had 8 hits last night, and he's just had a really, really great playoffs. He has the same exact plus-minus that he did throughout the 80 games in the regular season. So he's having a really good playoffs. He's making plays, scoring goals, and as this Florida team knows how to do, body checking and forechecking every single person on the planet. So I think he's been absolutely phenomenal this entire postseason. Really played or enhanced his play level and put this team in a strong position to win, which has been great. Obviously yesterday he had 8 hits, and I don't think he didn't have a point last night, but it didn't matter because he was getting people off the puck and clearing it when it needed to be cleared. And it's just the entire team obviously was fantastic last night, and even in game one as well. But he himself has really impressed me. His ability to just turn it up a notch, and just really, he's a point per game guy right now. And he has been absolutely phenomenal for them so far. Then we're talking about, come on, Brad Marchand. Every time he plays my team, I hate him, but boy, oh boy, if he was on my team, I'd love him. He's one of those players, and he has been an absolute little weasel and rat this entire playoffs, really, but really specifically in this series. Obviously, the stuff going on between him and Gostisbehere has been fun to watch. And I was watching PTI, and Wilbon and Kornheiser were talking about Gostisbehere, purposely shooting a puck right at Brad Marchand from point blank range. Some people have different ways of sending messages, and obviously Brad's is a lot more, I'm going to get it in your face, and I'm going to do it maybe after the play or whatever it could be. And Gostisbehere's, I'm going to slash shot this right into homeboy's chest. And obviously the scrap ensued after that. But No, Brad has played really, really well. I think I didn't think he was going to fit super good going into or initially seeing the trade from Boston to Florida. Obviously, shares a lot of the defensive mindset and just the getting under players' skin as a lot of the other players on this team, which obviously, I think we can see that chemistry is built already. But he's played well. I mean, he's second the team on points. He's got 12 points so far throughout this playoffs. And in what I would probably consider to be a little bit of a down year for him. In fact, that entire Boston team, other than Pasta, had a down year. But he's had a great playoffs. He's got 3 goals, 9 assists. He's plus 11 plus minus rating. So when he's on the ice, good things are happening. Granted, I would pay money to find a person on this Panthers team that has a negative plus minus, because they score 47,000 goals a game. But, he has been that person who is getting under everybody's skin, just in everybody's ear, going after everybody. And I hate to say it, but Aho is looking rattled, and it's not looking good. But Luostarinen and Brad Marchand are definitely my player spotlights. I just think they aren't being talked about and aren't being, praised enough. So I think them being able to play at this high level and, create chances for this Florida team and be everywhere all at once, which is what this Florida team is, and what they're good at and what they really represent every single game. So those are my player spotlights. All right, now on to this Carolina-Florida series. Now, it seems as if it's almost like a lose-lose situation for Carolina, whereas you have to somewhat match Florida's physicality in some regard, or else you're just going to get beat to death. And then if you overcompensate and you hit everybody and go after everybody and forecheck everybody, even when it's not necessarily like you don't need to do it, then players are out of position. Panthers are able to get right in Freddie's face, and all it does, it happened twice last night where it's a wraparound pass and someone's right in front of the net and they're able to follow it right into the goal. So I think that is where Carolina is kind of not sticking to their regular kind of game plan, where they have almost been too physical, which is crazy to say, but it's got them out of position. It's got them out of their normal way of playing defense, where it's tight and blocking shots and clogging up all lanes, making sure people aren't standing in front of Freddie. Like, it's just everyone's kind of out of position. So it's just not exactly how they play, and they feel as if they need to cater to this unbelievably physical Florida team, which is not necessarily the case. I think if they were to play their regular style of defense, they'll be fine. But their offense, and I've said this before on the show, and I've said this throughout the entire season, they don't, and yes, they will get a gajillion shots on net. They're not necessarily high percentage scoring chances. And you're going up against Bob, you're going up against, a Vezina Trophy winner, Stanley Cup champion. Like, this guy is a beast. He's been here 3 straight years. Like, this is nothing new for him. Like, you have to offensively switch it up to where, and this is honestly, and people may give me crap for this, but this is where like a Marty Necas comes into play. I think if you run with Marty this entire year, he is your guy. He is going to be your saving grace for this Carolina team. But again, I think, and I mean, you saw it in the Washington series. There are times where Carolina's just unable to score goals, and they'll win a game 2-0 or 1-0 or 2-1 or whatever it could be. You can't do that against this Florida team. It's just not going to work against this Florida team. And game 1, completely outscore or outshot Florida, but Florida was just able to get or make the most of less chances, which happens. Sometimes the puck doesn't go your way. It is what it is. But I mean, when you have a man advantage and when you're on the power play and you don't make the most of your opportunities in that regard, and you're one of the best penalty killing teams, and you're letting Florida walk all over you on the penalty kill. Like this Florida or this Carolina team just feels rattled in a lot of different ways. Like a lot of different ways. Losing 5-2 at home, game 1, whatever, shake it off, on to the next. What in the hell was last night? 5-0 blowout Panther win in Lenovo, going down 2-0 back at Sunrise on Saturday. This is not looking good at all. It doesn't look good at all. I hope Brindamore and honestly, like you just saw last night, a team. Obviously, when you go down 3 goals, it's very difficult to keep your composure, go out there, kind of not get annoyed and pissed off and stuff like that. But it just wasn't there. And like when the crowd is telling you to shoot the puck, they had 5 shots on goal throughout, or I think it was halfway through the entire game with 10 minutes left in the second period. I think they may have had 7 shots on goal. That's not, and I mean, this Florida team's defense is really, really good. I'm not downplaying that at all. But 7 shots through 30 minutes. That's not Carolina. That is not that team. That is not how they win games. And I really think that the physicality is getting to this team. I think Florida has set the tone from the first puck drop, game 1, and they can't handle it. They really cannot handle it. Now, hopefully, they just have to really quiet those first few lines. Carter Verhaeghe is unbelievable. Sam Bennett played unbelievable. He's had an amazing year. Obviously, Matthew Tkachuk. You have to quiet these guys. You have to have an eye on them and cater to them. Let other people on that team make the plays, because they're not going to make them as frequently as those 3. Barkov obviously is another one as well. Play to those guys. Let the other players make them make plays. If your top 2 lines are the people who are obviously making or producing the most points and producing the most goals, play to them. Don't worry about those lower lines. Obviously, continue to play defense, but match, defensively pair everybody. I would defensively pair every single person on that team, because that's really the only way that they're going to be able to beat this team now. You're down 2-0, and they're scoring. I forget what the stat was. I think it was they're outscoring opponents 21-4 in their last 4 road games. That's 5.25 goals per game on the road. And it stems from those top 2 lines. If you stop those two lines, I really do believe that Carolina at least has a slim chance of making it through this. But going down 2-0 and getting absolutely embarrassed game 1 and game 2 at home, it's going to be tough for this team to bounce back. I mean, Florida has just been great in so many different regards. Power play, they've been fantastic. Everybody is rolling. Everybody's rolling. Defensively, they've played phenomenal. I mean, only, Bob hasn't really needed to play great, but he's done it anyway. Faced 17 shots, stopped them all yesterday. They haven't really been getting a whole lot of shots on goal, but obviously has not been necessary. They've had high percentage chances, and they're making the most of them. But this team just is, they're playoff built, they're playoff ready. They're just gonna beat you to death. That's what they do. They're gonna beat you to death. They're gonna diminish your motivation and your love for the game. It's going out the window when you play this team, and it's effective. This team is more than likely going to go to their third straight Stanley Cup, and honestly have a really good chance of winning again. So we'll see. Hopefully Carolina can make a little run at it. This right now is your time to show the NHL that you are not a team that makes it to the playoffs every year, yet never has a chance of making it to the actual Cup final. This is your time. This is your chance, Carolina, to prove that you are not a second-round merchant. You don't listen to anything. Play your game. Don't cater. They are a good enough team to not have to cater to. Like, they can do their thing. They can do their thing and play their game, but can't lose sight of that. This is your chance, Carolina, to really, 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 really show that you are not what most people think you are. Win these next 2 games, get back on track, and make this a series. All right, now we're talking Dallas and Edmonton. I really thought, starting out, I thought it was going to be a really, really tight game. Draisaitl had that beautiful shot. Puck kind of was just going Edmonton's way, especially on the Nugent-Hopkins goal. And then Bouchard had that nice shot too. And then, obviously, Sagan had the breakaway, which was real pretty. That was real pretty. And then the third period came. And DeBoer just absolutely changed everything. Changed up the line pairings. And I think he matched up well, too. And I've said it a few weeks ago. Defensively playing against Connor McDavid, yes, every now and then, nothing you can do. But more often than not, putting a body on that dude is going to work out way better than just poke checking him to death, because he will blow right by you, as we saw in the series prior, going right by Jack Eichel. That just doesn't work. That doesn't work. And he had a bunch of chances, luckily able to make some stops, go Otter. But that was just a brigade of goals that Dallas kind of needed. I think if they were going to win this series, I think they do need to win both of these home games. Not that I think that the Oilers are, so much better than Dallas, but I think that this Oilers team has that chip on their shoulder, has that motivation to get back and more than likely rematch against the team that beat them last year. That is a big driving force for this team, and I think that motivation in itself will uplift this team to put them, or at least give them motivation to play really well in this series. So, because obviously, though it was a winning by 3 goals is pretty handily, I don't think it was as much of a blowout as the stats show, at least. What I will say, obviously Dallas giving Edmonton way too many chances in the first period, really first period and a half of the game. But they were able to, pick it up obviously in the third. 5 goals in 1 period is not going to happen very often, so don't get used to that happening. Make sure that you start off strong. Make sure, you kind of don't lose your composure at the beginning of the game. And it's tough. It's tough to play up against the 2 best players, in my opinion, in the league right now, and, flip a coin on who deserves MVP. But, what's going for Dallas is their power play, which has been the best in the playoffs the entire time, continued to be good. They were 3 of 4. That is humongous. I don't know where. Obviously, they played a lot better against Vegas, but there are lapses in this Oiler penalty kill that really worries me at times when it comes to, because they just couldn't stay out of the penalty box, and Dallas made sure to make the most of those chances for sure. Edmonton had a really great start. They passed really well. Again, puck went their way, but they really let the momentum shift after the first few goals and just kind of felt as if they were scrambling. Again, the penalties were involved, so they weren't playing really smart hockey, and Dallas took advantage of that. But I think this game tonight will be a lot different. I think you're going to see defensively, they'll tighten up. I think there were times where they just couldn't really stay tight on the penalty kill, and that's really what killed them. But, that Dallas D, obviously Lindell, Heiskanen, Harley, these guys can shoot the puck. Harley's got a nice wrister on him, and they know when to do it too. Obviously, everyone who's in front of the net, whether it's Duchesne or Rantanen or whomever it could be, so talented at deflecting and redirecting pucks into the net. So it's hard to believe that this Dallas team hasn't steamrolled through this playoffs. They've really had the craziest go of it. Obviously, first round going up against Colorado, who could just as easily be where they are right now, then going up against a very talented Winnipeg team, and now you're going up against the Oilers. I think Florida has had a lot easier of a go about it, as of the Canes. And obviously the Oilers had a pretty difficult journey to where they are now. But I think game 2, if you're the Oilers, I think continue to be physical. I think that's something that allows them to get more chances. You have players like Evander Kane and even Zach Hyman, who he's really picked up his physicality in this playoffs. That's many a times in last game and even in series prior, their ability to be physical has allowed them to get easy scoring chances. So I think if they continue to do that, they had 43 hits in game 1, which was great. Got crushed in the face-off department by 16. That can't happen. Have to be good on the draw, especially in your own offensive zone. That's, again, win the draw, pass it out, Bouchard, clapper, boom, goal. Or puck is loose around the net and someone comes in for a little rebound. So that, it's small and tangible stats that definitely that can create scoring chances. They have to increase both of those if they're going to win. Stay out of the penalty box. That can't happen. Edmonton's got to play smart hockey. And, if they're able to go on the power play, make the most of their power play chances. Have to be able to do that. And Skinner. Ooh. Stewart. Granted, he played great in those last 2 games against Vegas. Played great. I think obviously Pickard playing great and them putting him in kind of lit a fire under him, which is amazing. Don't lose sight of that. I don't know Pickard's injury status. I don't know if he's out for the entirety of the playoffs, but you can't let that happen again. 5 goals in 1 period. That's disgusting. That is absolutely disgusting. And let me even see. Now, they kept him in the whole game. Faced 27 shots, let through 5. So, I mean, it's hard. It's a high octane, such an incredibly talented offensive team with, a playmaker on every single line. Even Sam Steele's getting a piece of that action. Dude's had a great playoffs. So it's going to be hard for him. I really hope defense kind of tightens up, especially Bouchard. Dude gets lost out there sometimes. But I love Nurse. I love Wallman. If they had Matthias Ekholm back, I think that would be really big for them. But it is what it is. Got to run with who you got. And hopefully I hope they tie it up. I don't want this to be a blowout series. I hope Oilers tie it up in Dallas tonight. Got an 8 o'clock game today, and then 3 o'clock on Sunday, which is my favorite. Watch me some afternoon hockey. So we got a great series. Both series are really going to be good. I don't think Carolina's done just yet. I hope they don't get swept, but I think this series will be definitely a lot more entertaining. And if Carolina doesn't pick their ass up. So, and for today in hockey history, today in 2007, NHL Western Conference Final, Anaheim Ducks beat the Detroit Red Wings 4-2. Advanced to the Cup Final for the second time second time ever. Played the Ottawa Senators, crushed them 4-1. Humongous. Teemu Selanne, 36-year-old. He had a 48-goal, 46-assist regular season. Incredible. Had 15 points in the playoffs, second on the team behind Ryan Getzlaf, 21-year-old who had 17 points. Scott Niedermayer won Conn Smythe by playing the biggest defensive role in Senators' 9 total goals in 5 games. I didn't look it up, and I should have. How many defensemen have won the Conn Smythe? I do wonder about that, and I'm going to look it up really quickly. How many players? It got me thinking, seeing that stat, I was wondering how many. 12. There's been a good many. Oh, I didn't know Cale Makar, Victor Hedman, Duncan Keith, Niedermayer, Nicholas Lidstrom, of course, Scott Stevens, Brian Leach for the Rangers 94 Cup, Al McInnes, Leary Robinson, Savard, and Bobby Orr. It's pretty sweet. But other notable names on this awesome Anaheim team that I didn't know about: Chris Pronger, goated, Ryan Getzlaf, of course, Corey Perry, 21-year-old, and Chris Kunitz. Go Ducks. That's today in hockey history. All right, my friends, that is going to be it for this episode. I'll have a few announcements. Still working on our beginner blades, Road to Beer League. Working on that right now. Hoping to have that done probably by the end of the summer. Then we have... What I'm going to do is I'm going to tape the selection process for season tickets. That should be here soon, whenever the schedule comes out. I don't really know when that is going to be. And then I'm also going to do the 30-minute major awards ceremony. And so that should be fun. Just give some funny-ass awards based off different players and teams and all that fun stuff from the season. But that's going to be it for me. We got Dallas and Edmonton tonight, and Game 3 back in Sunrise Saturday for Canes and Panthers. Make sure to go watch some hockey, and I'll catch you guys next week.